G'day, let's talk about crossharp and bending for beginners. First I'd like to show you this chart. Have a look at that there. These charts can be downloaded off the internet. There's quite a lot of them around, have different content in some of them. In this particular one here, in this column, we have the key that the band is playing in. And it's generally governed by the ability of the singer and their range. They can do several songs in different keys, and well, if they can only sing in a couple of keys, you're generally dealing with only a couple of keys. This line here, which says crossharp, has the corresponding harp that you would use in comparison to the key that is being played by the band. And you notice that it's generally the fourth. Like here we've got A, and the harp we're using is D harp, which is A, B, C, D. And using a B, B, C, D, E, C, C, D, E, and so on. There's a third line here. That's for third position. Do I suggest that you look into positions currently? Probably not. But there's other harps you can play to the same key that would have a different tone, and also you can't use all of the notes on them, but it is something a bit different. Let's stick with crossharp. Okay, once you've got that chart and you've been listening to whatever music you like, you may not be sure of what key the tune that you're listening to is in. So if you know the name of the song and the artist, you can put it into Google, put lyrics after it. The lyrics will come up. There's several sites that do lyrics, and generally all of them have got the chords above the lyric lines, and the first chord noted would probably be the key of the tune. Some aren't, very rarely, but some aren't, but generally the first chord is the key that the tune's in, so you then can work out what harp you're going to use. When it comes to crossharp, that's about it you need to know as a beginner, and stick with that. When it comes to bending, some people call it overblow. There's quite a few standard ways that you can use to manipulate the reed in a harmonica. And I remember back as a beginner when I first started to play myself, and there wasn't any internet or anything like that. So I got a hold of a harmonica that didn't have a box or anything, didn't have any accompanying material. And back in the 60s, and they came in a cardboard box, and they had this little insert that you could pull apart, and it told you about the harp. It had actually a tab chart on it for, I think it was You Are My Sunshine, and The Blow and Suck, which I felt wasn't much use. A, I didn't want to play You Are My Sunshine, and B, I generally went by the ear rather than, which is amazing because I was profoundly deaf. I could still hear through here, and the harp would hum against my skull and my bones in my ear, and I could hear that way. When we talk about techniques of playing, I've always been a firm believer that sticking with traditionalism and just trying to emulate that is probably not going to be successful for a lot of people, because there's so many different ways that you can play that you have to find the one that's good for you. And yes, many people on the net now showing you all the ways that they actually use themselves for success. And I'll just show you what happened to me when I first started to play. This here, which is a mega sketcher, this shows you the standard that was accompanied by a harmonica way back in the 60s, although I didn't get the little tiny brochure about that. I was unaware of this. This is what was in there, is that you cover through the holes with your tongue and you pull down the side of your tongue here to your throat and then down into your lungs. What that does actually is the resonation chamber is not only this area on the reed and your throat, but also the capacity of your lungs. And what I didn't do when I first picked one up was any of those things, and that's because I was young, didn't have any information, so therefore I had to find out or work out myself what I should do. This is what I thought. When I first took one up, and I looked at the 10 holes, and this young lad gave it to me so I could have a look and mess around with it. I looked at the 10 holes in front of me and I thought I've got to isolate one of those holes. I don't know why I thought that. I could have just put in my mouth and blown 3 or 4 of them at once. It still would have worked. So what I worked out is maybe if I can feel where the hole is, I can put my mouth around it and then pull my tongue away. And maybe the air will go across already. And sure enough, I cut my mouth around it. I put my tongue in the hole, put my lips around where my tongue was, and I withdrew it. And I blew in and out. And sure enough, I was lucky enough to isolate one note, produce a sound. What I didn't do was open up my throat too much at all. I kept sealing it off. I don't know, maybe I thought I was going to drown or something. That's what happened. And the effect was that I sounded like this. And all of a sudden I was out of breath. I'd sucked that much in and I couldn't, exhale because I had no ability and I had no experience on matching all those things up. And that's what happened to me. So I actually now, after many, many years, and I keep saying this, it takes a long time, not only use both those techniques, but several others that I've discovered over a long time. And what's amazing is I don't really know when I'm using them, because when somebody asks me about when I'm doing a particular thing, I have to really sit and work out what I'm doing at the time and put the bits together to work out how I did that and why I did it. And I've always trained my ear, so when people come to me with tabs, I quite often suggest to them that's not the way to go. And they then would suggest to me, a few of them have suggested I go on to a stage, without my tabs I can't play. And there you go. If you go teaching yourself with things like that and relying on them, they're pretty hard to give up. Like heroin or cocaine or something. You get onto that, they're pretty hard to give up. And habits like that could be habitual eventually, and not everybody wants to stick with training your ear, especially if you don't have any information. Now, because I didn't have any information, I could focus on little tiny things that I wanted to do when I was younger and I was a child. These days there's so much information, you could actually get very mixed up with that, because you might be jumping to try things that you shouldn't be doing at that time. At that level, you should be trying these techniques out to see which one works for you the best, and trying to move from one note to the other. Once you can move from one note to the other with clear notes, try and play along to your favourite songs and work out which harmonica you're supposed to use. And once you've done that, another important thing is getting up in front of people, although you don't know a great deal, although when you go down there they're probably going to pull you off fairly quickly. I think it's a very important thing, because I know a lot of people that are really competent harp players and they still sit in the corner of their room terrified about getting on the stage. At that level, it's not about being totally proficient at what you do. It's about training yourself and your mind and getting around the harp to learn how to play it and what to do. You go to blues harmonica open mics, or any open mic, the blues harmonica is always in for a bit of a thrashing. There's no way you can get around that if you really want to focus on being successful. You have to go down and sit through those things, and they can be painful. Not only for yourself, but for the crowd. I remember when some friends came up to me after I put my own band together. I was initially in a band that I was just a vocalist. I wanted to play harp. They wouldn't let me play harp and things, I wasn't good enough. And there was already a harp player, so that was going to get stopped anyway. So I had to make the decision, if I'm going to become proficient at what I do, I need to do it all the time. Now, a lot of the time I was on stage singing, so I thought that I would duplicate that and start playing harp. Of course, it was fairly painful at the start. A few years after I got that band together, people who were really good friends of mine came up to me and said, thank goodness that you learned to play that bloody thing, because they'd been listening to me. from a very, very early stage and had witnessed the improvement over a very long period of time. Even I've heard just of late on the net, people took only 6 months to get to that. That's really good. And they also make comments about they got up and they got dragged off fairly quickly. Well, it's going to happen, you know. Criticism is probably the best thing for improvement, because when you go back and you're successful, success is the greatest revenge for that kind of thing. And it can get on your nerves at times. Now next, in the next tutorial, we can actually go to an open mic. We can see what happens here and see if there's any people are only just starting, and see if there's people who've been around for a long time and they're just getting up for a blow. Find out why they do these things and how they became harp players, because everybody's story is pretty important. And when you go from to I remember those sounds, you know, a long time ago, and they led to being able to do things like this. So never lose faith, and have a go, and I'll see you at a few open mics pretty soon. Have a go.